It's always a good day for good news when we have new Marvel Legends to talk about, but I got a few things that I want to say. Do you want to hear about them? Here it goes. So there I was, waking up this morning and finding that Hasbro had revealed a whole bunch of new Marvel Legends at the recent Mexico Comic-Con. So, Spider-Man, brand new day, but not a brand new costume. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk about the Hulk, actually. That's more exciting. Hulk, big, chunky, give the old eyeball test. I like what I'm looking at, except for the hair, which everyone has mentioned. It does look like he's wearing a wig that is slipping off the back of his head. That's a real shame. I'm not going to linger on it because literally everyone has already pointed it out, and you're right to do so. The actual rest of the figure looks real nice, though. The biggest thing that I really appreciate is the double dumbbell. You got the dumbbell torso, the dumbbell waist. No more flat, ugly disc waist. That's how every Hulk figure needs to be going forwards now. Okay? If you were here, I'd be shaking you by the shoulders, Hasbro. This is how it's gotta be. What's up for contention, though, is that the arms are just single joints, which is funny because the Red Hulk from Captain America 4, Brave New World, I still can't, I can never remember what it is. Was it Brave New World they finally settled on? Anyway, the Harrison Ford Hulk had double jointed elbows. This only has single joints. Bit of a shame on that one. But besides that, I think he looks great. I think he looks good. There you go. We'll temper it a little bit. He looks good. But it's just nice to see green, angry, savage Hulk back in the MCU. Finally. And he does look kind of weathered, a little bit older, because hey, time makes fools of us all. Except for the hair, yeah, it does look old, but not in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Does have double jointed knees though. That's not a bad thing. No toe articulation though. For a big, hefty, chunky figure, you can't pretend that you don't have room to put in some foot articulation, but they chose not to. But for $45, I don't think it's a lot to ask to look for a little bit more. What I do like, though, is the shirt. Love the removable shirt piece. It's not taken off in any of the pictures, but it must be removable, right? Just like the 80th anniversary Hulk, you just put it over the shoulders. I think it breaks up the body so much nicer, separates it from just being a big green color, putting the shirt over the top. Real good touch. I think that this will be the definitive Hulk for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Unlike the Spider-Man Brand New Day figure, which I think is going to get replaced before long. This feels very much like a placeholder Spider-Man. Okay, you know what I mean. This ain't the Spider-Man costume in the trailers. It's the No Way Home final swingsuit. I always get No Way Home and Brand New Day mixed up in my mouth hole. But yeah, this is just the final swingsuit repainted. Which I'm guessing is just because I'm assuming Hasbro didn't have the specs for the new Spider-Man costume when they had to put this into production. I know there's a long lead time, and sometimes you just got to go with concept art or what you know. And the most up-to-date suit they had was the Brand New Day final swingsuit. So they were like, just do that, I guess, recolor it, and Bob's your uncle, I suppose. I mean, hey, as far as Hasbro are concerned, what's the worst thing that can happen? We'll put out a more accurate one later, and then people will buy both. Well, here I'm telling you, all right? If you want to be financially conservative, don't buy this one, all right? Because you know we're going to get a more accurate one down the line. One that's actually going to have the Brand New Day design. It's going to have the web shooters on the outside. Undoubtedly going to have an unmasked Tom Holland head. So slow your roll. If you got to watch out, if you got to make the pennies count, then maybe hold back on this one. It's not going to be essential. Watch now when this is the only figure they ever make. That's highly unlikely. And then finally, as a bit of a surprise, we got Spider-Man Noir, the Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage. It's terrible. Nicolas Cage Spider-Man Noir from the upcoming Amazon show, which looks good. I'm really quite excited for this. Seeing the little previews with Silvermane, not Kingpin, Tombstone, Electro. That's some cool stuff right there. A Sandman as well. I think this show could be a whole lot of fun. And as for this version of Spider-Man Noir, I don't think we're going to get an unmasked Nicolas Cage one. Maybe we will somewhere down the line, but this doesn't feel like a placeholder. This feels like a legit Spider-Man Noir figure over here. Looks like they did a nice job with it as well. The different heads with the hat, the nice looking grapple gun he's got too. This looks like it's doing justice to what will hopefully be a big TV franchise. I hope it's successful. We get more than one series. You never know where it's going to go. But in the meantime, out of all three of these reveals, I think that Spider-Man Noir is actually the most complete looking figure. We also got some kids' toys revealed as well, so I won't linger too long on these. Got Spider-Man, got the Hulk, but what's kind of cool is seeing the Scorpion, Michael Mando's Scorpion. And what this makes me think is, hopefully, he's going to have quite a chunky role in the movie, because this version of the Scorpion has the tail that's made up of just like 3 cables that we saw in some early promo art that was quite underwhelming. We're like, really, is that what the tail's going to look like? And then in the trailer, he's got a more zhuzhed up, badass looking scorpion tail. So I'm hoping that we're going to see multiple appearances by the character throughout the movie. Maybe he has a basic costume that Spider-Man just dog walks him in their first fight, and then he comes back with a souped up look. That could be kind of cool. So yeah, already Spider-Man No Way Home merchandise is starting to drop, and I dare say we're off to a pretty good start. If you want to go a bit more high-end with your Marvel action figures, though, Hot Toys are giving us a 1/6 scale Weapon X Wolverine. This is pretty. They are really going more and more into their comic book figures, which I love to see because they pretty much have the entire MCU sewn up and locked down. If a new character is revealed, boom. Hot toy. They do not hang around. But the comic side of things is a bit less well represented. Well, they seem to be making up for some lost time. Now we're getting this Weapon X, and it looks like a typical hot toy. I can't really wax lyrical on it too much because the pictures do that for you. But getting all the wonderful details on the Weapon X helmet looks like a lot of work and a lot of attention to the itty-bitty little details. Really went into that, and it shows. It's going to be about $270, so they got to justify that $270. And it looks like with all the different pouches and readouts and scanners and trackers and the stuff that he has hanging around his junk, looks like they all have a nice level of detail in there. So yeah, for you Wolverine completionists, if you've got a spare $270 going, you can do a lot worse than spending it on this. Just want to take a quick second to say that, of course, this is a brand new channel that I've started just for good news. So if you haven't subscribed to it, or give me the old thumbs up, I would be really grateful. Trying to build up this channel and get it off the ground, so every little helps, or every big thing helps as well. If you wanted to go out running in the streets proclaiming that this is the greatest YouTube channel ever made, I mean, I wouldn't stop you, but still, just giving it a little sub and a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that. Hot Toys are also going over to the Mandalorian and Grogu. They're going to be giving us a 1/6 scale. I'm not even going to try and subtly look down. It's Zeb Aurelios. Zeb Aurelios. You know, the character I'm a huge fan of, Zeb Aurelios. He is from Ahsoka, right? And Rebels, is that it? I know it's the ancillary material, but I do love the fact that Disney are getting more continuity between the cartoons and the TV shows, now the movie, getting these reoccurring characters. That's awesome. And I like his design as well. Looks just like a classic Star Wars character, the kind of guy you'd see having a drink in Mos Eisley. So I like that. So yeah, more good quality Star Wars products. Never disappointed to see those. The most important quality Star Wars product is Mandalorian and Grogu. That we're going to have to wait and see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's going to be one of those movies that brings me back into the Star Wars universe. Time will tell, but I'm going in there with an open mind and an open heart. Let's see what you got for me. Flame Toys. They are the go-to brand when it comes to big, massive, badass mechs. And that's what we've got here. A big, massive, badass mech. What else can I say about it? Nothing. I got nothing. I don't know who this guy is. Let me rattle off the name for you, though, so you can enjoy at least hearing me trying to phonetically pronounce it. This, my friends, is the Amakuni Kizin Homura Gear Fighter Dendo from Amakuni Flame Toys. There you go. Everything else, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, now you know. Or at least you know as much as I do. Let the pictures speak for themselves and the pricing and all the other information down below me. So with all that being considered, I dare say this was another winning segment. Higher Toys giving us the winning champion, Rocky IV, Sylvester Stallone. This is kind of peak comic book style Rocky. I do love the Rocky franchise because every movie is its own different kind of flavor. The first Rocky movie, just a real heartfelt drama. The second one, bit of a continuation of that. Third one, great little comic book sort of style. Those first three as a trilogy, great stuff. But then the fourth one, they went, well, what if we just turned him into a full-on superhero fighting the commies? And you know what? It worked. So this Rocky IV with the great stars and stripes, red, white, and blue, America kind of shorts that he got from Apollo Creed. I hope he washed the blood off them. It's terrific. Really, really nice. Higher toys, people think they can be a bit hit and miss with the faces. We were talking about this in the last episode with G.I. Joe. I think with comic booky faces, yeah, they can be a little bit skew-whiff sometimes. I think with their real-life movie recreations, those tend to be a little bit better, which is funny because you would have thought that would be a bit more uncanny valley. But genuinely, I think the Sylvester Stallone, I think he looks pretty decent. So this one's going to be available around about the fourth quarter of this year. So not going to have to wait too long for it. And they've been doing a whole bunch of Rocky figures. This is another one, obviously. So if you're putting together a Rocky timeline display, well, this guy's going to fit right in. My, oh my, oh my, it's My from, what's the name of the studio? I had it in my brain and it's gone now, so let me just double check. It is Tri-Eagle Studios. It's exactly what I was going to say. 1/6 scale silicon, and I'm actually a big proponent of silicon figures, especially 1/6 scale. Had the silicon Cammy figure, and it's just amazing. Obviously, no joints or anything because it's just very Terminator-ish, a metal endoskeleton covered with silicon, and it just looks kind of amazing. Squidgy. So this it's Mai, isn't it? From King of Fighters. I was never a King of Fighters guy. Street Fighter, ride or die. But I do know that she is like the most iconic character of King of Fighters. If they're going to do some sort of action figure representation or a poster character, it's always going to be Mai, for reasons, I guess. I don't know, maybe she's just the best fighter. That's going to be what it is, isn't it? So this, kind of cool. If you know, you know. I've said that before already on this show, but this is one of those if you know, you know shows. So I haven't had direct dealings with Tri-Eagle Studios before. I'm trying to think, was it Playtoy? I think it's Playtoy that made my Cammy, but she was fantastic. So if this is a similar kind of quality, well then my fans, you're going to be in for a treat. Unlike my fans, who sadly are still waiting for a 1/6 scale Silicon Dave action figure. Don't worry, lads. Maybe one day. Tell me, do you bleed? Do you bleed money? Because you might be bleeding money if you need to get this action figure. It is a 1.5 version of the Dawn of Justice Batman from Mafex. If the first one just wet your whistle a little bit, then this one, your whistle can dive right into the pool of action figures. There's some weird mixed metaphors. It's interesting. I said on this channel a while ago, why are people still making Zack Snyder action figures? Who even wants these? And it turns out the answer is plenty of people. Thank you so much for letting me know in the comments. First of all, there were a lot of comments saying, hey, look, even though they're not making movies in this universe anymore, some of these designs, by a lot of folks' opinion, are peak looking designs and they look cool. So you want to have the action figures. Fair play to you. And other folks have also said, apparently, these Snyderverse figures don't sell that great in the States, but in Asia, the Snyderverse is still massive, and they sell way more than regular 616 comic book characters. And if that's the case, then fill your boots, Snyderverse fans. There's still something out there for you. Not good movies, but lots of action figures. And speaking of Mafex, we got a couple of new figures that are diabolical. Almost as diabolical as this English accent. Which actually, I have to admit, the longer The Boys has gone on, the more I actually love the accent. It's completely ridiculous. I've lived in England most of my life, and I've never once met someone who talks like this. It's full-on Dick Van Dyke. Oh, hello, Mary Poppins. Are you on Compound V, are you? It's great. I love it. It tickles me every time I hear Butcher on screen. Fantastic stuff. No notes. Never change it. And then there's Mafex giving us another version of Butcher. And stop me if I'm wrong, but don't these head sculpts, along with the new Homelander they're doing as well, I'll show you pictures for all of them, they look a little more exaggerated. They look a little bit more, dare I say, almost a little grotesque, as opposed to the very lifelike human likenesses that they normally go for with their boys' live-action figures. These ones seem like, yeah, they're clearly the actors, but they're just a little bit exaggerated, which honestly, I really kind of like. I dig it. So we got Butcher with his laser vision and his Hawaiian-style shirt. That's kind of fun. You got an updated Homelander as well. If you don't have the OG versions, these are probably like the best ones you can get. Certainly the most stuff going for them. And if you do have the OGs, well, maybe you want to double up. I'm halfway through watching the final series of The Boys, and so far, it's a pretty good time. I'm very interested to see if they're going to be able to stick the landing. Fingers crossed. In honor of 40 years of Aliens, which is kind of hard to imagine and makes me feel really old, but it is. It was 1986. James Cameron's Aliens redefined what a badass action movie could be. And now NECA are redefining, actually no, they're not redefining anything, just doing another Alien Warrior. No, that's pretty much the general consensus, is that this looks nice. 40-year anniversary, NECA, Alien Warrior, but it's nothing that we haven't really seen before. So, I mean, if you don't own a NECA Alien Warrior, well, this is probably the best package you're ever going to find it in. If you do own one, then, well, you've got it. So it's cool to have NECA doing more Alien stuff, even if it's more of the same. But just, come on, give us some new stuff. Give us some new designs, some old Kenner-style things reinterpreted, or some interesting new creations, because this is nice. Yeah, but that's all it is. It's great to see new Alien stuff back on toy shelves, but now just give me something a bit more juicy. It's great that it comes with the chest burster and the face hugger and the egg as a whole complete package. It's a real nice set, but especially I think looking at the chest burster for whatever reason, that's the main thing that makes me go, oh, I've seen this before. Yeah, this is all go into the warehouse and be like, all right, lads, what can we put back together and ship out for the 40th anniversary? What you should have done was really celebrate the 40th anniversary by doing something new, something to say yes after 4 decades. Almost as long as Dave has been on this mortal coil, we gotta do something big to celebrate. But instead it's like, nah, just ship out the same old thing. Come on, NECA. I want to see more from you in 2026. For all you millennials out there, Mondo have got you covered with some new Rocco's Modern Life figures. I never watched Rocco's Modern Life. I was in the working world by the time that came out, but there's a whole generation of Nickelodeon kids who grew up with Rocco's whatever, I'm not going to redo that. Rocco's Rotten Life, Cat Dog, Courage the Cowardly Dog, all that stuff, all that. Eek Monsters, that was one, wasn't it? Anyway, we got some really, they're great. Like they just look great. It's 3-dimensional versions of your 2-dimensional cartoons just plucked out of the screen and boom, there you go. The only caveat is that you have to pay a pretty penny for them. That's always the case with Mondo. They're like, oh yeah, don't worry. You see NECA over there reusing the same old warrior alien? Nah, brand new stuff, everything. Oh, look at that. It's like, wow, what's the catch? Oh, the catch is it's going to cost you. But hey, look, if you're going to spend money, might as well spend it on something beautiful. Am I right or am I right? And this, for a Rocco's Modern Life fan, it does look pretty beautiful. What's not so beautiful, though, is McFarlane Mortal-Kombat. Or just McFarlane in general. No, don't say that, Dave. They do have some nice things. Mechs and monsters. They crush it with their mechs and monsters, but with their human beings, I don't know what it is. Help me out in the comments. Although saying that just might turn it into a huge big McFarlane comment dog pile, which, now that I say that, is kind of fun. But what is it about their human characters that just look weird? They look off. I don't know what it is. It's just they look bad. I said this in the live stream today. If I got control of McFarlane Toys, I'd just be like, all right, guys, you know what? Burn it to the ground. Start again. We need a new aesthetic, because everything has this aesthetic with the human characters, whether it's DC Multiverse or any of like the movie franchises they do, and Mortal Kombat. They just have this weird, it just looks odd. Guys, look at Jada, look at Storm Arena, look at Hasbro, like they're doing it good. You guys aren't doing it good. Stop it. Change it. Do better. Anyway, Mac and Johnny Cage are going to be available. Thus ends the rant. For all you old school 80s and 90s WWF fans, we've got a little labor of love, a dedication to old tough guy himself, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! I really, really love this because this is the WWF that I grew up on, which was that wonderful halcyon time before you knew anything about the politics or the grubbiness or what people are really like or how the company was. But you didn't know anything. You were just a dumb little kid watching good old Hacksaw Jim Duggan with his 2x4 and his flag. And I'm like, what a time to be alive. I hope I never learn anything about what I'm watching. But I did. But you know what? What's kind of lovely is that genuinely Hacksaw Jim Duggan seems to be one of the good guys. Out of everyone from the 80s and the 90s, I've never heard any bad stories about Hacksaw. He's just someone who seems to be pretty universally loved. And I kind of love him because of that. So this is a great little tribute to Hacksaw himself with the four different heads? He's got King Haku's crown as well, the t-shirt, so much stuff going on there. That's really cool. $35 for the ultimate Hacksaw figure. I really like this. Tell you what, while all these different action figure companies are making big, sort of like grandstanding movie figures and, oh, look at me, look at what I'm doing type things, there's Jakks Pacific, who are just quietly putting out banger after banger after banger. Jakks Pacific with their Sonic the Hedgehog line, each and every one of them fantastic. I saw the whole lineup of their mashup characters that they did with DC the other day, and having them in hand, these are fantastic stuff. Can of Coke to you. That was a thumbs up, but also can of Coke to you. Jakks Pacific, now they're doing Metal Sonic, which looks like another banger from them. Just a really great company, quietly putting out fantastic action figures for a reasonable price as well. You love to see it. So here we go. This is the Jakks Sonic the Hedgehog 35th anniversary. Wow, did Sonic the Hedgehog only come out 5 years after Aliens? That's nuts. Anyway, collector's edition. So a little bit more bells and whistles going on here. Metal Sonic. I'm not sure when this is up for pre-order. It says stay tuned, what I'm reading here on the internet. So stay tuned, but keep your peepers peeled. He'll be available pretty soon. And now we have the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky from Revoltech. This is Estelle Bright. Brackets, Trails in the Sky, second chapter version. You could tell I was totally sight reading that because in the words of Meatloaf, I don't know who you are, what you do, or where you're going, you're not around. I don't know anything about you, baby, but you're everything I'm dreaming of, if I was specifically dreaming about this action figure. Otherwise, I probably would have no reason to dream about her, besides the fact that it does look pretty cool. That's all I can say. If you know, you know. Wow, that's the third time I've said that. Boy, state of your knowledge, mate. But hey, if you like a Trails of the Sky franchise, it's an anime franchise, I can only assume, it certainly looks like it, then you'll probably like this girl, because Revoltech, they're good at what they do. And in this day and age, what they're doing is making good-looking action figures. Another one that I'm not too familiar with, or at all, so I won't linger too long, but I do like the pictures. They're pretty. So from Figma here, we've got the Freeing the Amazing Digital Circus Figma Pomni. Pomni? That's the name? There you go. Cute, weird little jester character. I do worry that the older I get, the further away I get from anything that's new or culturally relevant. Boy, kind of makes you think this channel might be on borrowed time. No, it's not. I'm just going to dedicate more time to learning about what the kids are into. How hard can it be? Maybe I'll try playing Fortnite this evening. I'm sure that'll go well. So there you go. If you know, you know. Bing! Fourth time for that phrase. He's a fun-looking little jester. Pomni, apparently. Go pick. Now this is something I actually do know. It feels so good. Menasor. I love me some Combiner, Gestalt Transformers. Menasor, one of my favorites. And this bright, bold, colorful G2 version, whew, be still my beating heart. Also, you'll need to calm it down after having to pay for it because $270. Ouch. All right, so that is a lot of money. I mean, you get what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Transformers? that's still a lot of money. I'm not sure how they justify it, but you know what? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they broke it down for the cost analysis and they were like, look, lads, this is the cheapest we can do it if we all want to go home to our solid gold toilets. So there you go. It's a great looking Menasor. If you got the money, then go on, treat yourself. Me personally, if I was going to drop that much money on a Transformer, Tripticon or Scorponok, it would have to be one of those boys. But if you've got them already, maybe you might want to pick yourself up a G2 Menasor. If you want some slightly cheaper Transformers, though, don't worry, because the beautiful, wonderful, I love that they're doing it, and they have been doing it for a while. What are they doing? The 86 movie. That's what they're doing. We've got the whole 86 movie line of figures with some new additions, which I kind of dig, because especially two of my favorite Decepticons. First of all, we got Cliffjumper, and you know, from reading the recent Skybound Transformers series, I got a whole new appreciation for Cliffjumper. But then, man, Cyclonus, the Tracker. Or was it Scourge, the Tracker? Scourge was the Tracker. Cyclonus was just a badass. That was good enough for me. Cyclonus. Love the look of him. Really, really cool. And then, of course, we got Blitzwing. Come on down, Auto Brat. I bet he really gave himself a little pat on the back for that when he's like, I can't believe we've been fighting the Autobots for millions of years and no one's come up with the pun, Auto Brat. And there's a whole bunch of Decepticons who are like, are you going to tell him or shall I? So yeah, Blitzwing looks awesome. The fact you can do the proper triple change, get all the 3 different modes there, absolutely love it. And also now I remember it was Scourge, the Tracker, and Cyclonus, and his armada. So there you go. He didn't have a specialist role, except for the fact that he could organize an entire armada. That can't be easy, but you know who can handle it? Frickin' Cyclonus, that's who. Do you want me to gut Ultra Magnus? They played for keeps in that movie. We've got some awesome footage of the upcoming Lazy Monster Croc figure, which really kind of sells it to me. When I first saw this dude, I was like, have they just taken the Maestro Union Crocker figure and just put it out themselves? No, they really haven't. Looking at this now, no, I can see this is a lot of work and it's a whole new thing. It's similar because it's a bipedal crocodile. Steve Coogan, not Steve Coogan, Steve Irwin approved. Steve Irwin approved a crocodile. But this looks real nice. The amount of articulation and work that goes into making this, he looks like he's not just a McFarlane-style posable statue. Wow, I'm dumping on McFarlane today. But you can really play about with this. The articulation showcase video looks very impressive. But then also, I didn't realize they just had another video showing this off. If you get all 3 of them, because there are 3 different variants, if you get all of them, you can actually build a chariot out of their weapons and armor. How clever is that? That's a real little bit of extra thinking. So it's not just having the characters with a Build-A-Figure piece that on its own is useless. Each piece, like it's all armor and weapons. But then if you take those off and assemble them, you can build a crocodile chariot. That is some really awesome outside-the-box thinking. Lazy Monster not being lazy with your action figure designs. These are up for pre-order now over at 5K Toys. And honestly, I think you could not going to redo that. You could do a lot worse than to go pick them up. And folks, do you know what all that does? That does it. Because, folks, that does it. I'm in a funny mood today. That does it for Good News for today. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about the items covered? Comment below and let me know. And if you haven't given this a little thumbs up yet, well, you know what? There's still time. You can still do it. Or even a little subscribe to the channel. I'd be very, very grateful trying to build this one up. And your support honestly means the world. Just like all the people who are channel members with the name scrolling up next to me. Thank you so much for all of your support. Gang, until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Coffee, big time.